What's up guys, Manny here, welcome back to the channel. For this video I want to try something a little bit different. I want to deliver 3 quick tips, which are not that obvious, but which have the potential actually to take your climbing to the next level. And anyone can try these out, regardless if you're a boulderer or a sport climber. You don't need any extra gear, and these might help beginners just as well as advanced climbers. And in fact, I just learned something about myself as a climber while going over these, which actually motivated me to make this video. Let's get into it. Tip number 1 would be try actively to climb faster. Now the benefit of this is quite obvious. If we can climb a certain section faster, quicker, then we can reduce the average holding time and therefore energy expended on that section, which increases our chance to actually stick the crux, which might wait up there and which threw us off so far. Now I bet you've heard that one before, climb faster, because especially also since I uploaded recently some content which is related to this topic, and you might think to yourself, yeah dude, that's quite obvious, I know, but if I overdo it, if I climb too fast, I get inaccurate and then I slip off or something, and this ruins my attempt completely. That is true. Usually the first thing that suffers when we increase our speed is accuracy. But I tell you what, it's not impossible to climb super fast and super accurate at the same time. In fact, this is trainable, this is practicable like anything else. I said try actively to climb faster because I've noticed that most climbers get comfortable at a certain speed at which they perform all their attempts, all their moves, without even thinking about it and without exploiting the fact that these boundaries can actually be pushed if they are willing to leave their comfort zone. So that's tip number 1, try actively to climb faster. Quick tip number 2 would be experiment with different resting times in between serious attempts. Now, the ideal resting time depends on a number of factors, and I've talked about this before. We've got, amongst others, character of the problem, how exhausting was your previous attempt, and of course, probably most importantly, the individual itself. Is it a boulderer? Is it a sport climber? What does training and conditioning look like? Now, you could of course come up with some kind of formula which takes all these factors into account and simply spits out your ideal resting time for you. However, just recently I got surprised by how much less rest than expected I actually needed to send a certain problem in my gym, and that got me thinking that I probably simply rested too much before, and that was actually the main reason why I couldn't send the problem earlier. So the thing is, if you rest for a very long time, you might get a little bit more energy back, but at the same time you are losing your specific adaptation for this problem. And sometimes that's just more important. That's why I say keep experimenting with different resting times so that you can learn more about your own body and the problem you're facing without missing out on the one or the other surprise. And once you get that done, here's a little bit of a bonus tip. Use a stopwatch to track your rest and efforts and to stay consequent. And here comes tip number 3. Breathe. Now that's actually a big one which demands its own video, I gotta tell you. A lot of climbers out there forget about proper breathing, and that's only natural, given that there is so many other things to do, like clipping your quick draws, you gotta hit that foothold right, you gotta hit your dead points, and whatnot. That's why you have to try to make proper, consequent, consistent, homogeneous breathing a habit when you're climbing. And I know that's hard because I forget it from time to time myself. Apart from those who simply forget about it, there are also climbers, often beginners, who are a little bit uncomfortable with breathing super deeply and homogeneously because it makes some noise and they don't want to intimidate others or whatnot. And then on the other hand, we've got those who are super loud, screaming all the time, and although they can be a little bit annoying, they are usually the better climbers. Breathing is a powerful weapon against nervosity and therefore shakiness, might it be induced by fear of falling or fear of failure. And on a physical level, we can also strategically oxygenize our body before we even start an attempt to increase our chances. Or we can oxygenize our body during our resting time on a certain hold to prepare ourselves for the crux which might come afterwards. So as you can see, breathing not only works on a psychological level but also on a physiological level. That's why get that oxygen in, guys, don't be shy. So that's my 3 quick tips for you. Try actively to climb faster, experiment with your resting times, and breathe. Now, I know I only scratched the surface here, and I definitely plan to make some more detailed videos on some of these subjects in the future, but I simply wanted to give you something to think about which you can already apply in your next session and maybe get some benefits instantly. So I hope you've got something from this video. Please drop some likes and comments if you did, as always. And until then, guys, stay strong, stay versatile, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!